Good morning, gang. Happy Saturday morning. Okay, day two, hopefully for most of us, because the weather looks really good. Get out and in the yard, get stuff done, get stuff planted, get stuff weeded, whatever needs to be. Food, right? Important. Here's the other question. What are you going to do when the power goes out? Simple question, okay? And I'm not talking for hours, I'm talking for days, weeks, months, years, whatever. A lot of us have read 1 Second After. It's a pretty eye-opening book. What happens when there's an EMP, right? World goes to chaos. You follow what John Masterson's doing, whole 9 yards. If you haven't read the book, go find it. Go to the library, go get it. Go on Amazon, go on Kindle, go whatever. Get the book. Read it. It will wake you up, okay? Because that's reality, even though it's a fiction book. Why do I say it's reality? Oh, it ain't just me saying it's reality. Last week, the Department of Homeland Security put out a memo, okay, or a bulletin warning of exactly, well, not quite exactly, but exactly the scenario that is laid out in 1 Second After. Not an EMP, but a low tech, low scale, complete destruction of our power grid. Okay. One of you guys asked me on the live stream last week to describe what would happen in an EMP. I don't care what the reason for the electricity going out is. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Okay. So first off, let's see what this DHS bulletin said. I'm going to read this to you. It says, lone offenders and small groups motivated by a range of ideological beliefs and personal grievances continue to pose a persistent threat to the United States. Both domestic violent extremists and those associated with foreign terrorist organizations continue to attempt to motivate supporters to conduct attacks, including through violent extremist messaging and online calls for violence. Okay. Of course, the hacks over at CBS News twisted that to say right-wing extremists, even though it says both domestic violent extremists, and I still challenge anybody to show me any sort of right-wing extremism. I can point out tons of left-wing. And I guess, we now have right-wing foreign terrorist organizations, because Al-Qaeda and ISIS are notorious Trump supporters, right? Okay, just think it. So what happens? Give you this as a fact. If in the United States, that's it, 9 key substations are around all of us, okay? 9 key substations are taken out in the United States. That puts the entire country in the dark. 9, okay? That's how fragile our grid is. So what would happen, okay? What would happen if we were suddenly plunged into darkness? Okay, and here's the facts of coming out that the government for a long time has told you. Okay, I want to give you this, that William Fortune, who's the author of 1 Second After, was actually summoned to Congress years ago to testify to exactly what would happen. Okay, give you just this, the foreword to his book 1 Second After was written by Newt Gingrich, who at the time was Speaker of the House. Okay, just if you think this is just, it's fiction, no. Okay, Congress took this seriously back when we could take Congress seriously. Okay, the immediate aftermath of any, whether it EMP, whether it's just a attack on the grid, whether it's devastating weather, okay, but we're not overly concerned about devastating weather, okay. The immediate aftermath, this is what would happen immediately. Thousands of people would be trapped in elevators. All your electrical appliances would shut down, your refrigerators, your heating, your air conditioning, yada, yada, yada. ATM machines wouldn't work. Banks and businesses would shut down. They had no power. Cash registers don't work, okay. Gas stations that don't have backup generators wouldn't be able to pump fuel. And for most everybody, when the sun goes down, it's dark. You ever been anywhere where there's no light pollution? I mean, none. Okay, when I was out in Utah, when you get way out in you look up in the sky, there's a lot more stars in the sky than most of us can see. Okay, you go somewhere that's completely dark, like driving through Nevada, if you're trying to go from Vegas to Reno and drive through out there, the Area 51 area, there's no lights. That sky is so dark. Okay. The first day, the day after, okay, you'd have no water coming out of the pipes if you're on city water because there's no generators. Okay. Toilets wouldn't flush because there's no water pressure. Law enforcement, FEMA, whoever, Red Cross would be completely overwhelmed by emergencies. So they're done. Okay. You'd have looting like crazy. Batteries, your cell phone, your laptop, your flashlights start to die already. Okay. Those who have fuel generators would already be using up what little fuel they have stored. You'd have massive gridlock trying to get out of cities and suburbs because everybody'd be trying to go. Where? We have no idea. Okay. But if your plan is to get out of Dodge, good luck. You're going to have back bumper to bumper traffic everywhere in Poughkeepsie, in Omaha, where there ain't a whole lot. If everybody's trying to leave and go somewhere, everybody's stuck in traffic. Then when you have cars running out of fuel, then you ain't going nowhere. Okay. Not a whole lot of people can start pushing their car out of the way. Of course, then you'd have all the rumors of what happened. You'd have people saying, oh, it was a grid attack. It was an EMP. We're at war. And people start freaking out. Okay. Day 3, the gas stations are now out of gas. Okay. The ones that could pump, they don't have anymore. Everybody's done whatever they could. Water is scarce, clean water at least. The unprepared, which is 98% of the country, would be running out of food. Remember, we are 9 meals away from utter chaos in the country. That's 3 days. Okay. People are going to start panicking, okay, not knowing what's going on. All right. By now, drugstores, grocery stores are completely stripped. There's nothing left in them. Okay. And people have gone, oh shit, now what? The end of the first week, okay, any government rations that were passed out are gone. All right. Hospital, their backup generators now running out of fuel. So you have people in hospitals dying. I'll give you one. I had a friend of mine, this was years ago, up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Maybe some of you guys remember this story. There was a helicopter that crashed at a hospital, knocked out the power to the hospital. My friend was in the middle of being in a surgery when that happened. She's still alive. Okay, backup generators worked. But yeah, things like that do happen, guys. End of the first week. By now, martial law has been declared. Okay. Though with no communications and no power and everything, most people don't even know it. Right? The military's trying to maintain whatever sort of sense of order they can, but they don't have enough people. We've talked about that numerous times. Looting is insane. Okay, the stores have all been cleaned out, things like that. Now the people are trying to loot house to house. This is week 1, guys. This is 7 days in. Okay. Week 2, people have now realized this ain't just a blip. This is now a long-term thing. Okay. Most people are now entirely out of any food they have. Okay. Because whatever they did have, looters have come to take. All right. A lot of people are dying from lack of water. Right? We haven't got into the starvation part yet, but people are dying from lack of water. Depending on the season and your location, dying from the elements, the heat, the cold, whatever it would be. Disease starts setting in, typhoid, cholera, from eating tainted food, from bad water, from poor sanitation. Okay, this is the end of week 2. 2 weeks. Okay. The end of the first month, A bunch of drug-dependent people are dying or dead. Okay, this is your people that are on whatever, heart medicines, diabetics, whatever. Those that didn't have backups. Their backup plan was Walgreens is around the corner. Okay. You have all the people in the country with problems upstairs. There's a report I read this morning that 42% of Gen Z has at least one mental condition that they are on medication for. 42%. Let those people get off their meds. We have bedlam. Okay. People and communities are fighting over resources. All right. Home invasions are ridiculously up. People getting killed in the front lawn all over the place. Escaped prisoners, organized gangs running rampant. Okay. And basically communities are slowly starving. That's the end of 1 month. Okay. And mind you, we ain't even got the bad part. At the end of the first year, according to the Department of Homeland Security, if this happens, this is not some fiction writer, this is not a bunch of prepper channels talking, this is DHS, and don't tell me about Mayorkas, I get you, okay? At the end of the first year, DHS predicts 90% of the population is dead. Okay? Look around your neighborhood. Go up the street, 10 houses, including yours. You're the only one still alive. The rest of the block is dead. Put that in perspective. Walk out your front door, look down the street, and go, Tom, Dick, Harry, Mary, Bob, Joe, all the way down the line. Gone. You're all that's left. Okay? What is your plan? What are you going to do? All those things I talked about, some of them you probably have well taken care of, hopefully, okay, depending on how far along your prepping journey is. You know, you've probably already figured out things like, oh, your food situation, maybe your water situation, maybe your power situation, okay, your refrigeration, maybe your security, maybe you've got gas stored or whatever, okay? Maybe you've come up with a security plan so when people do try to raid your gardens, because they'll take anything. I don't like okra. Me, okay? I don't like spam. Jason, I'm talking to you, okay? You'll eat it. You'll eat anything when you're that hungry, okay? You know, as much as we all joke, I'd never eat that. You'd have to put a gun to my head. They put a gun to your head. You'll eat it. You're that hungry. If it's edible, you'll eat it. Do you have your plan for, not if, when this happens? We all talk about the worst case scenarios, an EMP, which is certainly still possible. Okay, I have no doubt about that. What better way to kill 90% of the population and never fire a shot? You know, think about the Chinese coming to the United States and go, gee, we can eliminate 90% of the Americans and never put one single soldier at risk of being hurt. 1, 2, 3, done. There's enough fanatics in this country, contrary to what CBS says, nearly all of them are leftists, okay? You know, notice who was calling in the bomb threats to Target this week. You know, that wasn't right-wing extremists. That was left-wing lunatics. Okay, this is it. 42% of Gen Zers are batshit crazy. Y'all wanted to know what was going to happen. This is what the DHS put out last week. Okay? Take this seriously because remember, what was it, 2 weeks ago? A bunch of senators were issued satellite phones? What do they see coming? What do they expect? What do they know that we don't know? You know, when it comes down to it, the only response I have is this. Have a good one. We'll see you later. Pinball out.